Number 7 reads, a submarine dives 86 meters at an angle of 9 degrees below the horizontal. What are the two components? On these vector problems, they're not a normal 4-step process, okay? It's all in step 1. It's all about picturing what's going on, okay? So here we got a little submarine. Woo. Okay, whatever, little sketch. And all it's doing is it's diving. Dive, 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 okay? And for a sub-commander, it's important that you know your angle of descent so that you don't go down too quickly and blow a pressure vessel or whatever. You need to track where your sub is, okay? And all we know is that it dives 86 meters, so that's the hypotenuse, at an angle of 9 degrees below the horizontal. And it's important that you know which angle you're working with because that affects your triangle, okay? So 9 degrees is in right here, but if I make a triangle over here, I'd have to do, 90 minus 9, so it'd be 81 degrees, etc., okay? Now again, I'm using this example number. When you solve it, make sure you use the numbers given to you in red, okay? And what we're trying to figure out are two things, okay? Notice the sub does two things. It actually goes in the x direction a certain distance, and in the y direction a certain distance. So this is actually a pretty easy problem. In fact, for all of these, it's basic sine, cosine, tangent, right angle trig, and then the Pythagorean theorem, right? Right angle geometry. A squared plus b squared is c squared. Okay, so it's nothing like too tricky. It's just drawing your picture right. So on this problem, only one thing is tricky. And notice, what does the sub actually do? It goes horizontal in the x direction, and then it goes which way in the vertical direction? It goes up or down? Down. So the only thing that's tricky about this problem is make sure your final number for y is positive or negative. Make it negative, okay? So in the x direction, this is pretty easy. Which trig function relates the adjacent side to the hypotenuse? Which trig function adjacent to hypotenuse would be the cosine. So 86 times the cosine of 9 degrees will give us our answer there. Positive, right? To the right. And then here, it's going to be negative, right? 86 times which trig function? Opposite side to the hypotenuse, so it'll be the sine function, right? Okay? So now when we get out our calculators to plug and chug, my only last tip is make sure you're not in radians, but in what? In degrees. Hit the mode button, make sure you're in degrees. Those of you that are taking trig or pre-calc, make sure you switch back to radians so you're not screwed up when you go back to math class, okay? And then it's pretty trivial problem, right? It's just plug and chug. So 86 times the cosine of 9 degrees, in this case is 84.94. When you do sig figs, looks like they're only giving you 2. You can just round it off. Okay, 84.94 pretty much rounds off to 85.0, right? And then we do negative 86, right? Negative 86 times the sine of 9 degrees. Okay, and again, why negative? Because the submarine's going which way? It's going down, right? So negative 13.45, that's like negative 13.5. Okay? Or actually, did I round wrong? Negative 13, oh yeah, negative 13.5. If you do one more sig fig, usually you're safe. Okay? So in a nutshell, number 7, pretty straight up. The only thing tricky is watch out for positive negative signs. So if we say going up is positive, what's going down? Negative, right? Going to the right, we call positive, so going to the left should be what? Should be negative, right? So we just want to keep it consistent.